It's been a little while since I took a look at an action camera, and with a couple of new scooters in the garage that I've been riding every single day, I've been on the lookout for GoPro style mounts, and it looks like this one actually comes with one. This is the SJCam SJ7 Star. Now, of all the action cameras I've looked at, this is actually one of the more expensive ones, and I'm kind of curious to see if it lives up to that price point. The retail price on this is $199.99. If you buy it over on their website, it actually also comes with something that makes this more unique for me. It comes with a microphone. It comes with this mini USB microphone. They also sent me a sticker if that's something you're into. But as you can see on the box here, this does support 4K at 30 frames per second. It has a built-in gyro for anti-shake. And again, you can use a microphone with it. Although over on Amazon, where it's $182, you apparently don't get that extra microphone. It says you have to buy it separately, and I can't seem to find a listing for it. So I'll be on the lookout for that, and I'll put it down below if you're interested. But just taking a look at the box, here are some of the specs. It does have a 12.4 megapixel Sony IMX117 CMOS sensor, 166 degree field of view. It can do 4K video at 30 frames per second, and it doesn't mention anything about interpolation, so I can only assume that's actual 4K. It has a 1000 milliamp hour detachable battery, so removable, interchangeable, hopefully the same size and shape as the other action cameras that I've reviewed, because that would be really convenient. Of course, it does have a micro SD card slot, and it says it can take up to 128 gig micro SD card, and they do have their own app. Feel free to scan that and download it if you're so inclined. But let's just go ahead and open it up. Maybe we'll take it out and put it on the scooter and go for a ride. Inside the box. Mine came a little bit off kilter, but that's okay. So of course you get the camera itself in its waterproof housing on a GoPro mount, or GoPro style mount. This one actually seems a lot more flat than the existing GoPro mounts I've used. Not that that's a bad thing. And then down inside the box, there are all of the mounts and cables and pieces and parts. Of course, you always get a microfiber cloth. This one comes with a touch back door, so you can replace the waterproof housing back door with this touch sensitive one. Although it does say touch functions do not work under deep water. So if you want to do that, if you want to have that extra protection of the waterproof housing, but you still want to be able to use the touchscreen on the back, that's the option. Just keep in mind, don't take it under deep water with that. There's also some more little stickers over here, and your user manual. This is another option you don't see an awful lot of. A housing for it that's not the full gigantic waterproof housing. So if I want to put it on the scooter, it'll probably be inside of this. And of course, a bunch of 3M sticky pads, mounting brackets and whatnot that are all compatible with it. The bike mount, which I'm really looking forward to. A protective cover for the lens cap. More 3M sticky pads, cable, and a bunch of these GoPro style mount adapters. And then finally the camera itself. It is inside of its own little enclosure. So let's get it out of this waterproof enclosure. It's got just a little clip here. You flip it open. I really like that style of clip. And there you have it. There is the SJ7 Star camera itself. It does have plastic all over. So we'll go ahead and remove all of that. However, it does say here on the back, notice, please power off when charging. The metal body temperature will increase after a long time of charging or working, but it should not affect normal usage. And that does bring up the next point. One of the other reasons why this thing is a $200 camera, the whole body of this is metal. And it does feel very solid. The buttons obviously are not going to be metal. They're kind of rubberized. The little door down here does kind of feel like metal on the outside, but it looks like plastic on the sides and on the inside. But at the very least, the frame should be all metal. And once you open that bottom door, there is the battery. It says SJCam, 3.8 volt, 1000 milliamp hour, 3.8 watt hour. Let me close it all back up. And then over here on the side is where your micro SD card will go. There's the mini USB port and then the HDMI port, micro HDMI. On the front you have the power button and then the settings button. And on top that would appear to be the shutter button. And this is the speaker here on top. And I took a very quick look in the manual, and this little teeny tiny right here, that little tiny thing right there, that's the built-in microphone, which is why you'd want to use something like this external mic. Let's go ahead and get it powered up. Just held the button for a second there. And then on the back, you can see there is the touchscreen. The date and time are not correct, but it did default to 4K 30 frames per second. So if I go ahead and hit the settings button on the front, we should go into the settings. There you can see video resolutions, video quality, field of view. Let's just go through them one by one. So by default, 4K 30, 16:9. Here are the other options you've got: 2160p, 2.7K, 2.5K, 1440p, 1080p 120 FPS. That's really rare to see in an action camera. 1080p 60, 1080p 60 SV, which from what I've read means super view. And I don't think in the super view mode, which is probably an ultra wide angle, it does not do stabilization. So that gyro, it doesn't work that way. So I may just avoid that for now. 960p 120 FPS. Keep going down, 720p, and it looks like 720p 30 is the lowest you can go. So I'm gonna go to 1080p 60, 16:9, because that's what I'm filming this video in. Then we go back, go to video quality, Right now it's set to super fine. We've also got fine and normal. Why you'd want something other than that, I don't know. Field of view, you do not have an option in this mode. If I change over to super view and then come back out, still don't have that option. If I go back to 4K 30, I do have a field of view option, wide, medium, narrow, but I'm gonna stick to 1080 60 just so it matches the rest of the video. And I might actually do a 1080 120 just so I can do a slow-mo. But moving on down, we have slow-mo as an option. We've got auto low light settings, gyro sensor on or off, detection, so off, low, and medium, and high, dual files, on or off, it's off by default, video stamp, please turn off, date, time, or off. Off. Time-lapse video, so you can do a time-lapse every 1, 2, 5, 10, 30, or 60 seconds. Loop record, you can have it loop every so many minutes. Car DV, so if you wanted to use this as a dash cam, that would work. Microphone volume, you can turn it up or down. Right now it's set to 80%, you can take it up to 100, or down to 50% or off. We'll start at 80% and just see how it sounds. Sharpness, you can turn sharpening to soft or strong. Auto white balance, you can change the white balance to a bunch of different options there. EV value, so exposure compensation you can change. ISO settings, auto all the way up to 1600. Metering, you can change the type of metering it uses, center, multi, or spot. Camera terms. And if you go on down to the next settings, quick capture, FPV, on or off, TV mode, light frequency, logo watermark, off or on, we'll turn that off. Auto shutdown, screen off, status and Wi-Fi LEDs, beep, definitely leave the beeps off. Date and time setup, date format, Wi-Fi settings, and then your firmware settings at the very bottom there. So let me fix the date and time real quick, and we're done. So at this point, let me go ahead, we'll put a micro SD card in and we'll test it. Alrighty, micro SD card located, stick it down in here. There you go. And if you can see that it does now say 1080p 60 16:9. And over here it does look like the gyro anti-shake is turned on. And so now we are recording. I'm here in my studio light setup, so everything is very bright. It should be one of the best, most optimal situations aside from going outdoors and getting bright outdoor sunlight. Maybe we should try it out with this microphone as well. Again, one of the things that makes this really interesting to me. And the mic they included in this for me, you might be able to see it here. It has a braided cable. It's about a meter long, about 3.3 feet. And it just has this mini USB plug, so you should be able to just plug it in like this. Because it is mini USB, it only goes in one direction. But now, in theory, I should be talking through the lavalier microphone on here. Let me just go ahead and tap it. So we'll see if it's actually working appropriately. And in looking around this a little bit, it wasn't really obvious, but if I swipe over from the side, it switches from video to photo mode and then back. If I swipe over from the other side, again, switches back and forth. Swipe up from the bottom, you get the capture, self-timer, photo burst, record, video lapse, or photo lapse, and then swipe down from the top, and you can review the pictures and videos. I think you can set up a remote with this one. And you can do Wi-Fi settings there as well. So if I came in here, I could tap on this and then view the couple of videos I've already done. And just from listening to it on here, it doesn't sound all that great with either the microphone or without, but this is not supposed to have a great speaker. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue doing tests with this. We'll hook it up to the scooter and take it out and see how it works with the gyro and everything. And then we'll come back and wrap things up. Here's a bit of a quick test here in a lower lit room. I don't have any lights on, just a little bit of external light coming in. And we'll walk through the house. I'm gonna be backlit right here, walking into a very dimly lit room, just a little bit of natural light coming in through the doors there. Then a little bit of outdoor footage that is not on a scooter. Just looking at the screen, the colors look like they're a little washed out, but hopefully everything looks kind of all right. The footage so far has looked pretty good outdoors. And away we go. I do have the lavalier microphone on, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of test on this side and then on the other side and see how loud things are and see if you can hear me and everything. See how the gyro works. There's not a whole lot of wind out today, but at the speeds that I'm going, it gets a little bit windy. So you'll see if you'll be able to hear me over this. It might be worth investing in a windscreen if you plan to do something like this. But there you go, that should be a good test of wind. Now we'll flip the camera around. And now we're going kind of fast. And there's where the audio from the scooter footage wraps up, because basically from then on out it's just noise. Once I got up to a certain speed, the wind was so loud it just completely overpowered it, and it wasn't just the lavalier microphone. Whenever I stopped for a minute, unplugged the lav mic and started again, this is what it sounded like. So there you go. Now, what I will say, the gyro in this, it's not amazing. It's not a gimbal, so don't expect it to be. It does remove a little bit of shake, but being strapped to a scooter frame, it's going to have a lot of shake and a lot of jitter, just because the road is very rough where I live, so that's to be expected. I think it did okay. I think it did reasonably well. The audio, as you saw earlier, it was just unusable at that point, so don't expect to be able to use it out of the box like that, even with the microphone if you happen to pick that up. If you do have a windscreen that you can put over the microphone, just a little wind muff, that might help, and I might try that out at some point because I think I do have some wind muffs that might work with this. But I think the video quality does look pretty good. It doesn't look amazing in low light, but you don't really expect that from an action camera. It does look good outdoors, and it does look good in indoor, well-lit scenarios. And the audio from the lavalier microphone did sound dramatically better than the built-in audio, but it was not as good as like the audio I'm using right now or what I would use on my main cameras. But either way, it was very nice to get the opportunity to look at the camera, and it is nice to have another action camera in my arsenal, and one that feels like it will be very sturdy for the long run. So thanks so much to SJCam for sending this out for me to take a look at. Thanks to you guys for watching. I will put links to Amazon and to their website to where you can check it out if you'd like. Hit the like button if you like this video though. Subscribe to the channel to get notified when I put out new videos, and I'll see you again next time.